Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Influential stars, planets, luminaries, and atoms all over the universe are rotating in their respective orbits under the direction of the Supreme, represented by eternal Kala. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Brahma Samhita it is stated that the sun is the eye of the Supreme and it rotates in its particular orbit of time. Similarly, beginning from the sun down to the atom, all bodies are under the influence of the Kala Chakra or the orbit of eternal time, and each of them has a scheduled orbital time of 1 samvatsara. Text 14, translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Translation. There are 5 different names for the orbits of the sun, moon, stars, and luminaries in the firmament. Firmament means sky. And they each have their own samvatsara. Purport. The subject matters of physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, time, and space dealt with in the above verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are certainly very interesting to students of the particular subject. But as far as we are concerned, we cannot explain them very thoroughly in terms of technical knowledge. The subject is summarized by the statement that above all branches of knowledge is the supreme control of Kala, the plenary representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What's the meaning of plenary representation? The representative has the full power of the Lord. Means Kala is unlimitedly powerful like Krishna. Kala is representative of Krishna. But Kala is as unlimitedly powerful as Krishna. That's the meaning of plenary representation of the Supreme Personality. Nothing exists without Him. Him means the Supreme Lord Krishna. And therefore, everything, however wonderful it may appear to our meager knowledge, is but the work of the magical wand of the Supreme Lord. What is wand? Magician's stick. He just waves the stick, something happens. That's a magic he displays by waving one stick. That's called a magical wand. As far as time is concerned, we beg to subjoin here with a table of timings in terms of the modern clock. 1 Truti is 8 divided by 13,500th of a second. Then 1 Veda is 8 divided by 135th of a second. 1 Lava, 8 by 45 of a second. 1 Nimesha, 8 by 15 of a second. 1 Kshana, 8 by 5 of a second. 1 Kashta is 8 seconds. 1 Lagu is 2 minutes. 1 Danda is 30 minutes. 1 Prahara is 3 hours. 1 day is 12 hours. 1 night is also 12 hours. 1 Paksha is 15 days. 2 Pakshas comprise 1 month. And 12 months comprise 1 calendar year or full orbit, 1 full orbit of the sun for those residing on the earth. A human being is expected to live up to 100 years. That is the way of the controlling measure of eternal time. The Brahma Samhita affirms this control in this way. Yat chakshuresha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurtir ashesha teja yasyagneya brahmati sambrita kala chakro govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. The translation of this verse from Brahma Samhita 5.52. I worship Govinda. This I refers to Lord Brahma. Brahma is speaking. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under whose control even the sun, which is considered to be the eye of the Lord, rotates within the fixed orbit of eternal time. The sun is the king of the planetary systems. The sun is the king of all planetary systems and has unlimited potency in heat and light. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. This is a very interesting chapter in which Maitreya Rishi is explaining to Vidura, and there's conversation being quoted by Shukadev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj, and Suta Goswami is quoting Shukadev Goswami's narration to the sages of Naimisharanya. This is a parampara system. They quote the previous authorities to explain something which is already explained. No need to again seek another explanation. So, whole calculation of time, beginning from the atomic time, and in this chapter it will be described atomic time, shortest duration of time that can be actually measured, up to universal time, which is the duration of the life of Brahma, who has the longest lifespan among all created beings in this universe. So all those time durations are measured, and here's a table. This table will be further extended in the later verses up to the duration of life of the human being is given this 14th purport, summarized, the durations of time. So the important point to understand, to appreciate in this chapter is that what Prabhupada says in this purport, beginning from the sun down to the atom, all bodies are under the influence of the Kala Chakra. Chakra means cycle. It keeps rotating, means it keeps coming again and again and again. Orbit of eternal time. And each of them has a scheduled orbital time of 1 samvatsara. Samvatsara means the time it takes to go from one point in the Kala Chakra, from one point to go round the Kala Chakra and come back to that same point. The time it takes is called samvatsara. Now this samvatsara is relative. Just like before my birth in this body, if I take that point in time, then till I accept this body, I enter this body, then I remain in this body for some number of years, and then I quit this body. So when I quit the body, I come back to the same point where I started at the beginning of life in this body. You understand? So this is called samvatsara. This samvatsara for a human being is fixed duration of life of a human being in the when you say duration of life in this body, human form body, is maximum of 100 years. So this influence of Kala Chakra is there on everyone, including Brahma himself. The most powerful created being in the entire universe, even he is under the control of Kala. So what to speak of other so-called powerful demons and other powerful persons in this world in different times and different places. So nobody is independent. Nobody is free from the influence of Kala. Everybody is controlled by Kala. Hiranyakashipu, he was such a terror in the whole universe. But when Narsimhadev came, appeared, that also because this Hiranyakashipu was challenging Prahlad. Where is your God? Let me see. The atheists always pose this challenge, no? And when they pose this challenge to people like us, we are not able to show God in a way that will silence these atheists. Correct? But how long can these atheists pose this challenge? Until death comes. After death, they are completely silenced. Finished. Millions of such atheists have come and gone. But God's control, God's representative Kala is eternally going on. There's no stopping Kala. So, the influence of Kala is universal. And this influence of Kala is particularly understood by the devotees of Krishna. Other than devotees, nobody understands or really has a realization of what is Kala. Even though everyone knows, at least everyone having the human form of body, having developed intelligence, they know Kala is going to finish off my life in any particular body in this universe. But still, under the influence of the illusory energy, they behave, they think, they work in such a way that I am going to be eternally living in this body. I'm eternally going to be powerful. I'm eternally going to be wealthy. I'm eternally going to be healthy. Like that. This is the influence of the illusory energy, Maya. And added to that Maya's influence, there is the influence of Kala. Then there is the influence of the particular karma. Karma, I mean that our past actions, particularly the sinful actions, which force upon us suffering, that influence, that depends on what my karma is like, what your karma is like, what each individual person's karma is like. That influence also is forced upon us. So Maya, Kala, Karma, and then the conditioning due to gunas. Now when we say Maya, Maya's effect is the effect of illusion. That is Maya's effect. And the effect of the gunas is another aspect of this material energy, is the influence of the three gunas which conditions us, forced to act in a particular way. Even whether we like or don't like, whether we want to do it or don't want to do it, we are forced. Just like as devotees we have experience, after we come to devotional service, we have to control our anger. But even after practicing Krishna consciousness for many years, sometimes suddenly anger manifests. I don't want to become angry, especially against Vaishnavas. I don't want to become angry. But suddenly I become angry. This is called the force of the gunas. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna samudbhavaha. Rajoguna is so very... each of the gunas, all the three gunas are powerful. So influence of Rajoguna, the force of Rajoguna makes a person angry, makes a person lusty, act in lust, act in anger, forced upon us. We don't want, we know it is wrong, it is bad, it is against my self-interest. So this is the force of the gunas. So, in the introduction to Bhagavad Gita, Srila Prabhupada explains, Kala, Karma, Guna. You cannot avoid the influence of these three simply by material methods. You can rise above these three influences by pure devotional service. You can rise above the influence, but only by pure devotional service. Not by material methods. Not possible. So, the core subject matter of the Bhagavatam is bhakti. Bhagavata comes from the word Bhagavan. And Bhagavan means the connected words. Bhagavan, Bhakta and Bhakti. Bhagavan, Bhakta and Bhakti. So, without Bhakti, there is no question of any solution to our problems. There is no question of overcoming death, overcoming the influence of Kala, overcoming the influence of Maya. Maya means illusion. Under the influence of illusion, what is the specific influence of illusion? I am not able to see or perceive the reality. I see you. But what am I seeing? I am seeing your body. At the most, I may perceive your mind within your body. But I can't see or understand or know your spirit soul. That is the influence of Maya. Illusion. My whole life, I am leading based on this misunderstanding. That I am the body, you are this body. He is this body. Total misunderstanding. So it's a very, very, very big mistake. Very big miscalculation. Very big misunderstanding. Entire life I am leading like that. What is this life? Meaning in life. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada stresses many times, come out of this bodily concept of life. Come out of the bodily concept of life. And how you can come out? Only by pure devotional service. There's no other way. Even the greatest learned scholar in the Vedas, if such a person doesn't take to pure devotional service, he is also in the bodily concept. Even the so-called liberated Mayavadis, they are in the bodily concept of life. Even though they may rise above the three gunas, they may become gunatita by severe austerities. But they consider Krishna's form to be made of matter. The same bodily concept continues. They have understanding, I am not the body. At least when they are above the three gunas, situated above the three gunas. What about Krishna? Krishna is not his body. God is not his body, not his form. Then what is that form of Krishna? It is made of Maya. That's why we say Mayavadi. Why do we call them Mayavadis? Their vada, their theory is Krishna, when he becomes visible to us, when he appears in this world, then he accepts a material form. So, bodily concept of life, we should get out of that. Then only we are free from the influence of illusion. Until then, we cannot be free from the influence of illusion. So we have to, and the easy way taught by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. By Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's grace, when you chant, immediately you are out of this bodily concept. You are out of illusion. You are beyond the influence of kala, karma, guna, everything. But to remain, permanently get fixed up in this position or platform above the influence, that is the practice of sadhana bhakti. One time chanting is not going to fix you up. You have to purify your consciousness. You have to practice. Practice means repeatedly do it. Every day chant. Every day hear Bhagavatam. Every day worship the deity or participate in deity worship. Like that. So that is what is the importance of this chapter. Calculation of time. Clearly, Kala is the plenary representation of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Full power. Kala is fully powerful. And this details that Prabhupada gives in this 14th verse purport, this is very important, that it is not meant for some technical analysis, because then there is so many more questions. How do you measure one truti, the smallest measurement given here, one truti, 8 by 13,500th of a second. How do you measure that? So there is no details given about that in Prabhupada's purports. But even in Bhagavatam also, original it's not given. But that is not important for us. Prabhupada says, as far as we are concerned, we cannot explain all these calculations very thoroughly in terms of technical knowledge. The scientist will straight away ask, no. कैसे आप measure करते हैं? Where is your instrument? They got all their instruments. आपके पास क्या है? Yes, some shlokas and some Acharya has given some translation. And then you are just telling 1 through T, 8 by 13,500 of a second. कहाँ से आया आपको 13,500? Where did you get it from? So many questions they can ask us, isn't it? So Prabhupada says, we are not concerned with all those technical details. But it is important, the subject is summarized by the statement that above all different branches of knowledge is a supreme control of Kala, the plenary representation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the point Prabhupada always made when he had discussions with some scientists, philosophers and all. That you are asking so many questions, you are challenging, you are theorizing. What about your own existence? It's going to come to an end. You're going to die. And then what next? You don't know. You foolishly think everything is finished. So therefore, this important point, that self-knowledge, who am I? I don't want to die, I am forced to die. I don't want miseries, they are forced upon me. So this is an intelligent person's jignasa, inquiry. Who am I? Most intelligent person inquires, who am I? And is not satisfied with answers given by those who theorize, speculate, and make imperfect observations, have got defective senses with which they make defective instruments. You see? So these are not the real answers to such intelligent inquiry. Who am I? Koham. Koham is a sandhi of kaha aham. Who am I? Most fundamental question. Anybody should ask. Any intelligent person will ask. Most intelligent question. Who am I? So that they don't ask. Because they are intoxicated by the misunderstanding that I am God. This is a misunderstanding in this material world. Whether they say like that or don't say, but within their heart, within their consciousness, they think, I am the center of the universe, or I am the controller. Ishwaroham aham bhogi siddhoham balavan sukhi. 16th chapter, demoniac nature. Krishna explains. So, to different degrees, this demoniac nature is present in every conditioned soul. So, we have to come out of this illusion, we have to come out of this misunderstanding, and then everything becomes clear. Everything becomes clear. What is going on? Who's the supreme controller? Who are the demigods? Everything becomes clear. You see, it is significant that at the end of the seventh chapter, Krishna describes clearly devotional service, knowledge of the Absolute. Then, end of seventh chapter, Krishna tells something about Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adi Bhuta, Adi Daiva, Adi Yajna. 6 terms he describes the end of 7th chapter. Immediately, 8th chapter begins with Kim Tad Brahma, Kim Adhyatma, Kim Karma, Adi Bhutam cha Kim Proktam, Adi Daivam Kim Uchyate, Adi Yajnam Katham. So, this inquiry by Arjuna is actually the most fundamental inquiry. Kim Tad Brahma? Vedavyasas put it in the beginning of Vedanta Sutra as Athato Brahma Jignasa. So the Brahma Jignasa is there in Bhagavad Gita. Brahma Jignasa is there. Kim Tad Brahma? Directly it is there. The question raised by Vedavyasa in Vedanta Sutra, beginning of Vedanta Sutra, Brahma Jignasa. Kim Tad Brahma? It's there in Bhagavad Gita. So, as far as Krishna's answers are concerned in the beginning of the 8th chapter, it is just short answer. What is that answer for Kim Tad Brahma? The 3rd verse. I'm not remembering that verse. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. 3 words he answers. But then to explain this answer further, rest of the Gita is there. So to understand this answer, Aksharam Brahma Paramam. What is the English translation of that? The indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman. Aksharam means indestructible. And transcendental is Paramam. Aksharam Brahma Paramam. So indestructible, transcendental living entity is called Brahman. To understand this answer, whole of the rest of the Gita, in conjunction with is already been told by Krishna in the earlier chapters. It's not that you forget all the earlier explanations. No. You have to understand in connection with that. So, study Bhagavad Gita nicely. Study Bhagavad Gita nicely. Thoroughly. Then all that is described in the Vedanta Sutra, in the Upanishads, and all the original Vedas, everything is there in the Gita. So we are enlightened by not only the statements of Krishna, but the explanations given by Prabhupada, the purports. Okay? So I'll stop here. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.